Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guile here, and welcome back to our coverage of the Galaxy Cup tournament. It's semi-final and final of Q1. That's qualifying one, so don't confuse that with anything where these guys might walk away with cash today. This is very much the start of the tourney still. Growy didn't send me any games for Q2 at all. I'm assuming nothing of interest happened in I'm sure that's not the case. But I guess he wanted to send me a pack of quality videos, and not enough happened that he deemed worthy to send me any of those. So I'm going to trust his judgment. He has sent me a pack for qualifying 3, so looking forward to bringing you that after this. First of all, before we crack on with today's action, just worth mentioning that Forged Alliance Forever, or not Forged Alliance Forever, Forged Alliance is part of the Steam Summer Sale, so for any reason you were feeling reluctant to get involved with FAF because of the price, today is your lucky day. It is down, I mean, I'm not sure what it is on for dollars. It's on for about £2.20 or £2.40 in sterling. So in American dollars, you're probably looking at somewhere around or south of $4, I guess. That is a guess, but check it out, guys. Well worth it. It is the best money you will ever spend. Also, those of you who like the Forged Alliance Forever Facebook page will have already seen recently that there's been an update to the map editor, so if you feel like getting involved with that and adding to the already awesome anthology of maps here at FAF, thought you'd try your hand and put your little stamp on it, please get involved. We could always use more content. If you don't like the FAF Facebook page, first of all, what's the matter with you? And second of all, give me a shout, and I'll just put it in the description anyway below this video. And if I don't remember to do that, you know what to do. Yell at me until I make it so. Alright, that's enough waffle. Let's get on with today's game. The last game, I think, we saw Zlo come through against Tagada. This is the semi-final. We're going to follow Zlo's next match, and this will be versus Plodox on Via 3 Protectorate. I'm ready. You guys are ready, and the players are sure as hell ready. So let's go on to the game zone. Just about got that out, and see how these guys are going to get on. A-chang. Ka-ching! Here we go. Down here at the bottom left in his customary green, it's Zlo in his not so customary Seraphim, opening first land. Have we got a second factory there? It's keeping us waiting. It's second air. There it is. Let's take a look at his opponent up here at the top right, going UEF in Pontiff White. And opening first land, it's a Plodox. And we'll go back to split screen to check out their glorious openings, because we know they always will be glorious. So Zlo going first land, as we said. Then it looks like 1, 2, 3 P-gens. That's a move command, incidentally, to save time, to make sure his comm moves over here and instantly builds a mass extractor, because sometimes he might walk over here and then go and then stop there and start building. So this is maximum efficiency he's going for here. And then he's going 2 core mass, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 P-gens, and then air factory. Boom. So he's going to get a good 5, 6, 7, 8 P-gens online before going for that air factory. And then what have we got over here? Plodox opening first land, 2 P-gen, mechs, 1, 2, 3 P-gens, and then a land factory, and then an air factory. So a little bit more conservative on initial power generation. Look for Zlo here to be pushing out the early air power with that extra couple of P-gens. So that is where we are. Boom, back to full screen. Initial engineers out. I think we can afford to bump it up a notch. Now we know what these chaps are doing. Is this a bit of lab play? Yes, it is. Mech Marine and Snoop out there for Plodox. Let's have a look at the waypoint. That's coming over here to this position just north of Zlo's glorious opening. Let's get on the names just so I don't forget who's who. Never be too careful here in FAF. Always worth keeping the names on so you remember who's who. Easier said than done. Second Snoop and Mech Marine out for Plodox. I would assume this is coming down here. He's going to go for maximum. Well, actually, he's going to lie in wait for an obligatory engineer that's probably going to trundle along over here and try and snag the bottom right-hand corner. So Plodox going for maximum annoyance here in the early stages. Where is this early air power? Straight for bomber, as expected there for Zlo. Did we have an air scout out? we don't appear to. Zlo going to do the work with the bomber or allow the scout to catch up. There we go. Definitely a sensible way of doing that. Produce the scout second. They virtually insta-build compared to the bomber. And allow those to overtake. We have a scout out as well for Plodox. And the Mech Marine not going to get any work done, at least at the northern aperture. Zlo sensibly counters with a THAM there. Doesn't send any vulnerable engineers out. There is an engineer down here that is expanding. And in fact, the Mech Marine that was dispatched to that bottom right-hand corner has been given additional orders to go and push on through. But there are THAMs coming out to defend that NG as well. Meanwhile, Zlo does pick up an engineer kill. He does lose that bomber thanks to an early intercept, a bit of coverage from Plodox. But at least he has slowed down expansion somewhat. This engineer took a bit of fire down to 72 hit points, but still pretty comfortable there as his escort arrives in good time. 3 THAMs now down here protecting this NG, but nasty little force of strikers already building up there. I think we can afford to go back to regular speed. Things escalating quickly here. 5 minutes in and already multiple engagements happening in different areas. THAM over here lost his scout to Plodox's ACU that rolled out and dealt with that personally. THAM took a bit of fire down to 40 HP there. He's going to back out, and Plodox still with that engineer online giving assistance to the comm in the area should he need it. 4 interceptors, excuse me, out for Zlo. 5th if you count the one in the base. What happened to the early interceptor coverage from Plodox? He seems to have backed off construction there. He's working instead on a transport. That completes. He's got engineers lying in wait over here. Question is, where's he going with them? Probably top corner, or let's have a look. I want to preempt the decision-making process. He's going to keep us waiting. Let's check back in on that in just a second. Air Scout's about to get twatted, or is he going to escape? No, he's got a decent patrol route there, which lets him avoid the likely approach. And in fact, he's going for bottom right-hand corner. Plodox with 6 NGs on board, fully laden transport. And he's got a decent amount of strikers down there already. You want to push those forward and clear a path. Where is the drop-off? Drop-off is here. Strikers and THAMs engage. That's going to go much better for Plodox, it would seem. Zlo, though, look what he's doing in the larger map, fanning out, trying to pick off vulnerable mexes as and where he can. 3 THAMs make it into this group of mexes over in the east, the 3 o'clock position. But relatively well defended Plodox. He's got his ACU over here. Engineer has built T1 PD at this position, defending these mexes. 1 striker defending the back mechs. Plodox with a little bit of pressure down here. It's a few dead THAMs and a few more dead strikers. So neither player scoring any slam dunks in the early stages. Those engineers have successfully got 1 factory in play, many more on the way. Striker out battling a THAM, and the strikers will win. 2v1 was always going to go that way. Couple more THAMs scooting in through the northern aperture. Definitely worth going after the engineers. They score a kill on one of them. Will they get any more? Another one under fire. It backs out. And down it goes. 1 engineer still online there. There's another couple over here as well, which has just finished a point defense. So it looks like Plodox is emerging with control, for now at least, of the bottom right. And he's making a push for the top left as well. Group of THAMs rolling in. Vulnerable group of NGs there potentially. One of them with a magnesium deficiency with some spasms there as it tries to reclaim a tree which the FAM is sitting on. I don't know if that's what's causing it or if it's just because it's slightly outside his effective radius. Slow swoops in with some inties to blap something in the air. That looks like it might have been a scout. Nice formation of the FAMs. Should give him an upper hand in this little engagement as Plodox rolls in with his strikers. Another group of FAMs coming in from the southwest. Another group rolls out to the east. If he'd stuck around for a bit longer, could have picked off a few more engineers there. So Plodox, for now, with the only troops in the top left corner, but with no engineers to set up shop properly. One T1 bomber harassing the bottom right. That gets shot down from defending interceptors. Excuse me. Solo's eastern aperture leading into his base. Comfortably defended. Air factor there spitting out bombers. Those bombers being dispatched to harass the withdrawing forces of Plodox as they head back up over to this section of the map. Only one bit of anti-air, one unit of mobile anti-air in this pack. It looked like he was going after it, but it overshot. It's definitely the unit they want to take out. Give those bombers free rein on the coverage down there. More engagements happening simultaneously up in the northwest. T2 upgrade on the way for Plodox's comm. When that completes, that will make this area a lot tougher to crack for Slow. It's already really beyond his capabilities with the presence of the commander. If Slow could force the abandonment of that upgrade, that would be a major win. I don't know if he's got the units to do that. If you bum rush the comm now, you might be able to get something done. Plodox only 4K power, so doesn't have the energy storage online and therefore the ability to overcharge. Of course, without very comprehensive scouting, Slow won't know that for sure. And it doesn't feel like he's got the FAMs or the Zuis to make that happen now anyway. Could be juicy if he can get a bomb off. No, he can't. Significantly more archers in the mix now for Plodox down here. Correctly assessing the threat and dealing with it. Plodox has been shooed off this top left-hand corner meanwhile. Slow, for now at least, sitting in command there. And Slow doing what he always does. Nice and aggressive, but slightly being out-ecoed here. He needs to get some build capacity up into this top left-hand corner and capitalize on the new territory which he's won. Excuse the camera fail. Tanks coming down off the ridge, walking into some light artillery fire, and that T2 upgrade still not complete. Coming up towards 70%. Slow looking thin suddenly up front. Has more reinforcements back here. Wants to get some PDs online. Going after the mass point first of all. There's a lot of land factories online for Plodox in that bottom right hand corner. And Slow finally catching up. 55 now to 46, and in fact overtaking generated eco. Total mass accrued. Slow 41, 32 for Plodox. Excuse me. So a significant advantage when you take into account reclaim. Bombers now harassing the T1 P-Gens. doesn't get to finish that off. One or two more bombing runs would have done it. Alas, archers become a part of that mix, and we're up to T2 air now for Zlo, who has Notha fighter bombers harassing Plodox's main base. Down goes the T1 mechs there, just as it's nearly evened up. It was 57 to 55 there, and then Zlo jumps towards 60 odd. Another T1 mechs down and out. Fighter bomber free reign for the time being on the soft, vulnerable, exposed bits. Another fighter bomber over here causing problems for Plodox. Down goes another T1 mechs. This is great work from Zlo. Good harassment. Picking these off. It's 63 to 47. There's a lot of grouped up build capacity here as well. That would be a prime target. He's going for it. Genocide. Only time it's ever funny is in SOCOM. And another civilian mass casualty scenario. Now going after the... No, he's going to take out more build capacity. That's an outrageous number of engineers. Thought he was going after the PD there. Picks up another two. That is a very, very cost-effective Plodox saying air raid to control cases com. Honestly, not surprised after that series of events. He wasn't breaking through on the bottom. And just getting picked off. How many mexes did he lose? 1, 2, is it 3, 4 in there? Another one up there. He rebuilt over here. He did lose that one. Might have lost that one as well, but just lost so much build capacity in that. Now, back to the holding video. Now, those of you who watched the previous one will have been horrified by the fact that the sound still played. I don't know how that happened. I was sure I disabled it. Hopefully won't happen again as we go to the wonderful intro. Is it working? I think that's good. It doesn't look like it's bleeding through onto the audio as I looked. That was awful. There are a few things, guys, for those of you that don't cast, when something like that goes wrong, it's just horrifying. You upload it and then someone puts in a comment, what's up with links to the time? You go and check it out and you're like, oh God, that just looks about as professional as if my 3-year-old had done it. Hopefully it's a little less annoying this time. I suppose it spared you some of my waffle in between, but never mind. So on to the final, which is going to take place on Crossfire Canal, or at least Crossfire Crossing, which is a modification of that map without the water, and it's versus Tagata. So back to FAF. When it finally decides to load, it will do in just a second. I don't know why it comes out with these pauses, but it does. So Tagata dropped down into the losers bracket, won all the rest of the games. We'll examine the challenge tournament viewboard or the stats leaderboard, if you will, for Q1 after these games. And he won all those matches and then faced Zlo in the final for Q1, which is really pretty awesome. And the finals best of 3 as well. All the other rounds were just a single game. Best of 3 for the final, and this is game 1, and you can see Crossfire Crossing, but dehydrated. Yeah, it's definitely needs a good old glass of water, just like the rest of us in this heat wave we're experiencing in the UK. Those of you who live in Nevada or whatever are just like, what? I'm sure I actually looked at my map the other day. I've got 1 or 2 subs from, shout out to those from Israel and Kuwait and the Middle East, if you're watching. Yeah, I don't know. I really shouldn't complain about the heat, but for me and for everybody else living over here, it sucks, man. Like, roll on winter, and the wife wants to go camping again for the 3rd time in a week or 2, so I've got to go and sit in a tent in this. Think of me. Think of me. Anyway, let's take a look at our players. So up here at the top, Zlo. We'll get the names back on there. He's going Aeon this time. His custom green once again going first land, second air. And Tagada down here at the bottom left in, I think, his customary Halib orange, and going Seraphim, opening first land. Let's examine their glorious openings. There we go. So, Zlo going first land, 2P gen, getting the com, bit of assistance on the first engineers to get the core mass. Then he's going 1, 2, 3, is that 4, 5. So very similar to the last game. He's going another 5 T1P gens and then going first air. I think that might be identical. He might have done 3 P gens off the bat last time, but if it's not identical, it's bloody similar to his opening in the previous game. We'll leave it on that close up so you can continue to watch. Tagada going first land, then 2P gen, Cormex, and then going, where are we at? 1, 2, it's so hard to tell, at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, very similar once again to Zlo's, then Air Factory, and then on from there into broader expansion. So these guys almost identical on their openings, if not absolutely identical. Both with floaty, naughty on this map, which would normally, if it was its usual setting, be a huge advantage, and now it's just, you know, nothing. Suis and Auroras are going to combat each other over desert soil and not much else. I think we can afford to go to +2 while these guys get set up. Early Air Factory, pivotal, of course, on a map such as this. You'll want to get chariots and whatever the Seraphim equivalent is out nice and soon to make expansion onto the other slices as quickly as humanly possible. And a little bit of flare aggression, lab aggression out from Zlo. Where is he headed with those? You'd imagine he'd want to trundle on exactly where he's going down to these points. That is the usual track these guys will be taking. Slow it down as we do indeed have a T1 transport out from Tagada going straight over to this. Interesting. I would have thought he'd have gone to the plateau. No, he's going to pick up the hydro first of all. A lot of mass, of course, I guess, on this map. Power probably their bottleneck, initially speaking. And these guys power locked yet. Not as yet, but it is a potential danger. Cannot overestimate the importance of quality, well-prepared eco-balance when you're playing at this level, not getting power locked and keeping your spend on power down to a minimum, so you keep that low power generation over what you need and plumb all the rest of your resources into as much units and things that can shoot stuff as possible. It's the ticket, and then after that, you just got to worry about general strategy. Suffice to say, there's a lot going on. Don't let that deter you from picking up the game if you were thinking about it. There are plenty of failures out there like me that still play this game and are happy to give you a match, as intimidating as it might seem. So that flare and that spirit that was heading over here, it got rumbled, and as a result is now getting chased here by a Tham. Might manage to get an engineer kill here. Indeed it does. Decent pickup there from Zlo. Zlo trying to shoot down this transport over here. Nearly managed it. 68 hit points left, but all of those engineers make it safely onto that top plateau over there. Zlo and Tagada battle for air supremacy over this portion, or this slice of the map. And Zlo redirected his flare up over here, realizing that Tagada had already expanded. Zlo needs to get on up with his expansion game. A little bit behind here. 5 minutes in, and Tagada already set up shop comfortably with engineers on both slices. We have got construction underway on the north, well, that's not north at all, I should say. It's the eastern slice, forgetting how many slices are on this map. for Zlo. One land factory on the way. Excuse me while I take a sip of water so I don't mash my words all the way through this cast. T1 bomber shot down there. Good air coverage from Tagada, protecting that western slice. Zlo determined to wrestle back air control over that slice, sends in 4 more inties, gets the drop on 1. Tagada presenting a very right round rump towards his enemy. Always ends in disaster that. Gets those 3 aircraft shot down. If only Zlo had a bomber in to follow that up. We've been seeing some more ground-based carnage for certain. Out goes a transport for Zlo, chariot fully laden with NGs. I think that's the first transport we've seen from our resident Aeon player. Engineered down and out. Nice pickup from Zlo's T1 bombers, who's been playing a bit of a blinder today with those. That's going to get caught out by a couple of inties. Zlo could have done with hanging around his inties a little bit closer there. And he's dropping off his NGs in sequence. 1 on the top, 2 more on that next tier down. And where's he going with that last one? It's right to the ground there for a couple of big chunky rocks and their reclaim value. He's just all over the shop with the odd Aurora here, trying to harass Tagada. Looks like he's airlifted more NGs in with what is a very badly damaged transport. 45 hit points left on that puppy. Doesn't prevent him from using it to expedite maximum facilitation. There's a bit of Brexit terminology for you there, in case you were missing my usual spouting. I submit you probably weren't. Aurora about to run into an ACU there. Fortunately, the ACU is busy, so he's just going to let that roll on by. Maybe take a few pot shots in the back. Generally not great for your health. So where are we at? Another chariot laden with NGs out to the eastern edge. Total mass accrued in favor of Tagada by around 3k. Generated eco going his way too, but only by a couple of mass per tick. Slow to set up shop on his 2 slices. Has at least got factories online on the lower tier. Wondering if that facilitates more speedy deployment rather than setting up shop on the upper tier. Probably does. Gives you the chance to produce units. Those could sit out on the cliff, guard that approach, provide them with a bit of coverage from the relief of the land. Incursion by Tagada. Small platoon of tanks. Fortunately not equipped with any artillery. Here comes the counter push from Zlo. And presenting a poor face to his enemy there. Tagada will get picked off on the line without any real difficulty. Could have done some damage there. Alas, his attention was elsewhere. (55 to 53), still pretty even. Tagada out ahead on power generation and still a 3k differential on total mass accrued. Zlo not falling any further behind, but not gaining any ground either. 2 sets of armies converge. Over in the east, Zlo looking pretty comfortable on containment. over in the east. In fact, neither player really looking like they're about to break out anytime soon. It's odd seeing this map without any water. Expecting naval yards to pop up in these canals. No such dynamic here. Another group of THAMs rolled into the breach and left to get overrun. T2 upgrade on the way for Zlo, and he's already got a T2 air factory online and is working on a T2 transport. Second and third air factory upgraded to T2, so Zlo going air power in a big way here. We have T2 air for Tagada, working on a T2 P-Gen. I think if this is part of some uber aggressive comm drop, certainly make use of the Alumnar he's just built, the Alumnar that's been dispatched over here, well out of the way, guessing fearing potential interceptor incursion. T1 bomber does get a bomb away before getting shot down. Oh, that's a thing of beauty. Zlo will hate that. That's a lot of build capacity that's been wiped out. Bomber almost got shot down, just got the bomb away. It's the sort of thing you'd see in a movie, isn't it? A movie where something very bad happened for a particular individual whose name was Zlo. Starting to see the odd artillery piece brought into the fore. Zlo holds position. He completed his upgrade on the comm. More air factories under construction, or at least queued up. And now lots of Swiftwind's coverage as well. Zlo determined, it would seem, to lock down the skies. This is pretty much an all-in strategy at this point. So much has been devoted to this, and in fact, Tagada, I don't know whether that's a counter or what he always planned to do, but he seems to be investing heavily in air power, or is about to. But he's behind the curve here, and he had his commander on a transport for a while. That looks like that was just brought back to the base, however. Come on, Zlo. Drop your comm in someone's face. When I say someone's, I mean Tagada's, because no one else is playing. Good analogy, top class commentary here at Guilecast, as always. T1 bombers in from Tagada, spot a very static army that they can annihilate in a single pass. A lot of dead tanks right there for Zlo. Tagada moving on to another very static army right up here at the northwest. Wants to get a move on. We have a T2 transport moving down the edge of the map. Where are you going? Drop bombs. Cheeky little drop. Inbound for Zlo. We got a good spread. Not so much, not too bad. But Zlo happy to just let all of these tanks die. It's going to do wonders for Tagada's kill-loss ratio. It's currently at 1.35. Where's that Alumnar going? Right down here to the bottom corner. I'm guessing he's coming in for a run at Tagada's main slice. Ground battles brewing over here in the east, or at least just east of center. Zlo had all these Swiftwinds, and he's not shooting down these bombers. He's lost so many units to those. T3 on the way. It really does look like he's going for a bit of con droppage. T2 gunship band moving out with a large T1 fighter screen. If they can get in there now, those fighters, they might be able to shoot down this chariot that's strolling into very ill-advised territory. There it goes, and that was what looked like a good handful of Auroras that faced their demise in that plane crash. And now Zlo pumping thistles into the mix. Decent anti-air coverage finally puts a stop to the bomber harassment up there. At least they're still getting work done on the ground on the influx of Auroras coming across the middle. Lumnar in across the middle. We got that movement on that other one as well. They're coming in right to the center, trying to cause some damage on the main base. There's a lot of engineers. We've got core mass. Doesn't want to keep them clumped in case there are any Zoos around. That other one will make it in as well. That does run into the comm and the T1 PD, however. T1 PD should make short work of those units over there. Lots of engineers dying to the Auroras at the other drop site. They don't manage to kill the T1 PD over here. Bombers brought in to support. They will run into another point defense over here that was hastily constructed by engineers at the other corner. So, well, they kill a T2 PGen, which is pretty cool. Swiftwind's brought in to deal with the air power. Now, do we have a backup drop from the commander? No, the T3 upgrade was completed. He can shoot down all of the interceptors. He can cause some real problems here. Tagada has the T2 upgrade on the comm. I'm wondering if he's aware of what Zlo might have been planning here. Eco-wise, he is way behind, says the observers. Blodox from the previous game watching. He is way behind in Eco, 83 to 116. Tagada with a massive advantage. And this can happen when you're focusing on harassment, especially complex harassment with airdrops. You've got to make them count. You've got to take out vital systems, hamper your opponent's Eco. Otherwise, you will find yourself squeezed out in the Eco game. Spectre brought in, annihilated by interceptor coverage. The Swiftwinds we saw produced earlier, not doing a great job of cleaning out here. But here comes Zlo with his comm. Has he dealt with enough of the fighters? Oh, interesting. It's not coming all the way in. It's just a drop to the middle. Use that extra build capacity in that T3 upgrade to force his way forwards and close down the amount of territory that Tagada has open to him. Blodox betting on TML from Zlo. Straight in with a stealth field gen. And it looks like he was right. Tactical missile launchers queued up for Zlo, looking for a snipe perhaps, or at the very least some kind of mass attack on the resourcing options. T2 radar coverage in place at this base. New defenses going up. How's Tagada responding? He's still building P-gens for the time being, so he hasn't clocked what Zlo's up to. One TML online, second one zapped up in no time at all with that huge amount of build power available to a T3 comm. Assistance given to missile construction in one. He'll switch to the other one, I'm sure. No, stays on one. Attention is elsewhere. Interesting. So not going for the snipe. Launching a single missile off over towards Tagada's vulnerable mexes. T2 down here. Down and out. Tagada still in the lead, 106 to 83, and is, wow, 16k ahead total mass over the course of the game. And here comes the pressure on the ground, coming straight towards Slow. Didn't get a chance to get any defenses online. Let's start work on them now. And look at the insta-build on the T3 com. Terrain's not on his side though. All of those T1 PDs firing into the ground. They can't get a solution on the ground. Targets that are rolling forwards. Lots of return fire from Zooey's mass. Zooey production won't be hampered by the terrain, and they'll take down those PDs pretty easily. Lots of gunships over here. Have we got a snipe on the cards? What are they going to be used for? They're going to be used for defense. T1 bombers rolling in from Tagada. Bombs away. They hit a couple of the Spectres. A few more get brought on towards the Auroras in the back. Lots and lots of ISILs on the ground. This is not a particularly cost-effective attack from Slow. He's taking a lot of damage on these gunships for little return. Swiftwind's annihilating another T1 bomber group heading towards the northwest. Slow, meanwhile, going after that 9 o'clock slice. Gunships, Bulldoze brought in by Tagada to defend. They should have a pretty easy time of it unless those Swiftwinds are dispatched to counter. Gunships still going after this forward position, but Tagada can afford to lose all of these factories. He won't be worried about it. The important thing is he's putting a lot of damage on that T2 pack of gunships. .22 minutes gone. Slow inching ahead in kill-loss ratio, but still way behind on mass. He's been static pretty much on his eco. 140 versus 83. That's where Slow was 5 minutes ago. He really has been focused on all-out harassment, and he hasn't managed to inflict much significant damage. Attack missiles still flowing out of this forward base. Still picking off T2 mexes here and there. That drops Tagada down to 128. And then all was silent. Slow e-stalling apparently. Yes, he is. Well aware of the issue. He's hastily constructing T2 P-gens, trying to get his eco-balance back in order. Having done just about all they can do against T2 mexes over here. There's TMD online on the main plateau now. Slow switches his target to the 9 o'clock slice. Plenty of T2 mexes here, vulnerable. No TMD online. Down goes another one. Yeah, Tagada, eco, more or less static, building up elsewhere in areas that Slow can't reach with his TAC missile launchers. A precarious position indeed. Air staging facilities going up to repair his gunships, no doubt. There's a lot of economy in that gunship force. He wants to continue to keep them healthy and see a lot of use of the air staging facilities. Tagada has air now, says Plodox. And I think he's probably right. Would you look at the ASF numbers building back here? Slow's entire strategy throughout this game has been strong airplay. It hasn't really paid the dividends that he would have hoped. And now Tagada has out-teched him. And with that wave of scout planes flying over the main base of Tagada, Zlo should now be aware of that. He's dispatching his Swiftwind force to cover his gunships in the middle. Where is he at with his air production? Just trying to find the air HQ. It's in the center there, and he's still producing T2 units out of it. No upgrade on the way to T3. Zlo gonna have to catch up or switch up, do something. Band of Auroras rolling through the 9 o'clock slice on a cheeky little run by, getting targeted by a T1 bomber, which has been doing so much good work over the course of this game for Tagada. Really has made those bombers pay. It's been a bit of a masterclass really on effective use of what's potentially outdated technology at the 26-minute mark. A lot of T1 firepower still on the map though. Game that's been centered heavily around airplay has meant that T1 ground force is still getting a look in comfortably later on. Swiftwinds engage the T1 inties. Where are the ASFs? They're brought in after the fact. They're going to ignore the Swiftwinds, go straight after the gunships. One pass takes out half of them. A second pass will get the other half. Tagada looks like he was the main target, surviving with 12k hit points, and that looks really bad. Zlo about to lose his Swiftwinds now as they're fighting over T1 anti-aircraft fire from the main base as well. And that looks like a very comfortable turn of events now for Tagada, who really just had to sit back and defend. Yes, there's a lot of gunk, a lot of green goo coming his way in all areas of the map, but look at his eco now, 171 to 83. It's only T1 coming his way, which he can deal with. He's burrowed in pretty comfortably in his main base. Snipe is off the cards. Attack missile batteries still firing when they can. That horde of T1 units from Zlo that is rolling in this direction has been dismantled. What was left of it faded east, looking for more vulnerable mexes, but it's just nothing. Too much air power now for Tagada, who has his own small groups of gunships roaming around the map now, cleaning up units. Mercies inbound, or the odd Mercy inbound here and there from Zlo. Don't get much done with that. Tagada's fringes now guarded by T2 units. We've got Ilshivas, we've got Ioshivas, and they're facing off against T1 spam. Zlo out-teched, out-ecoed, and suddenly it's looking like there aren't a lot of options open to him. AoE so devastatingly effective against the lightly armored T1 units. They're all clumped together. Mercy's being deployed over to this portion of the map. I'm not sure exactly what for, what Zlo's trying to achieve with them. Just getting shot down by patrolling fighter craft. Another Alumnar with T1 units gets the drop off. There is one T2 point defense that needs to be prioritized, and it's not. It kills a attack missile defense. There's another one operational down here, and that point defense will survive as well. Worst of all, that should have been the primary target. And half an hour in, and I'm struggling to see where Slow is to go from here. He's managing to pick off a T2 Mex over here. Nice little run by. But just look at the unit density, the unit tech. Sporadic at best for Slow in different parts of the map. Still nowhere near T3. He's now 100 mass behind Tagada in generated eco. And like 70 mass behind in total eco, total mass accrued. Still trying to find a way in with his units and control cases comm. It was a lost game really. Tagada played a blinder. He held out, grabbed half the map, teched up, out ecoed Slow, who was hell bent on going aggressive. And so that's interesting, man. So Tagada, having lost that, I forget what it was, probably a fourth round match, third round match, something like that, to Zlo, then finds himself going into the losers bracket, coming up against Zlo in the final when he came through that losers bracket, and now he's won the first game of a best of 3. Zlo finds himself in a situation now where he's in a must-win game against a guy he's already ousted. Which is kind of crazy, it has to be said. And we go back to the next map, which is Asyut Canals. I say must win for Zlo. It is and it isn't. I mean, it's, you know, these guys both, I believe, qualify for the finals, but it's one of those situations who you're going to be playing, and whoever wins this final in Q1 is going to get an easier next round match against whoever it'll be in the final. So you definitely want to come away with a win if you can. Alright, let's take a look at our plays. And I think this is a new map to Guilecast as well. Asyut Canals. It's a 20 by 20. Haven't seen this one before. And up here at the top, we've got Zlo, who in this must-win game has reverted to type. He's not messing around with any other races. He's going his classic, his beloved Cybrin, where he feels safe. Still his customary green, going first land, second air. And Tagada down here at the bottom, switching it up this time and going Aeon. And that could be a bit of a blinder as well. Floaty, floaty, naughty, naughty on a map with lots of potential benefits for early T1 floaty. So that could be an issue for Zlo in this one. These guys, I think, will be well aware of them. I don't think there's any kind of random rotating pools or anything like that. This is selected maps that have been picked out before the tourney. So Tagada going first land, second air, and just on the face of it, I think these guys have pretty cookie-cutter setup openings which they're deploying here. It seems to be exactly the same as we've seen in the last few games from Zlo and Tagada. 2 P-gens, core mass, then another 4 or 5 P-gens, and then Air Factory. Exactly the same as we see. It seems to be the go-to start, either if you're not sure or if it suits the map to begin with. Tagada, of course, yielding a couple of 100 points in global ranking to Zlo, but like we've said so many times in the past, it really doesn't make huge amounts of difference. Some reclaim at the back of these bases. We have a chance to examine the general order of reclaims. You've got the central reservation in the middle. You've got 2 mass points on either side of that. Another little side island next to that, all of which are scalable by amphibious units. And then you've got large sections of mass on these corners here. Decent amount of mass all round. Reclaim wise, what are you looking at? There doesn't seem to be that many enormous rocks. It's all kind of little garbagey ones here and there scattered about, but definitely there's mass to be had, which is going to help you in your start, at least get set up. Zlo going straight for a transport. He's got that paused. We'll work on that in just a second when he's constructed a few more T1 P-gens, and then resumes construction of that. What's building down here for Tagada? He's going for coverage above all else rather than expansion, going straight for interceptors in both of the air factories that he has online so far. And they're being sent straight to dispatch. Did he get a read on what was being built? I wonder. He's come out here very aggressively. Zlo trying to defend. We're going to knock this back to normal speed. Zlo has the numbers to defend, and defend well if he can execute efficiently. Yes, he will. So no transport kill there for Tagada. Transport loads up with NGs. Looks like he's going to have a fully laden ensemble. 6 NGs on board. Where is he going now is the question. He's being brought out here. That won't be where he's dropping off, I'm certain of it. Brought down here. Interesting. Thought he might be coming to the side islands. He may still do. Looks like he might drop one off over here at the very least. Maybe that's what he's doing. He's doing a bit of a triangle on that corner. Where are we at on air production in the meanwhile? We've got any expansionist plans. Still no transport on the way as yet. We have got a tow dipped into the water for Tagada in the naval game, as there is with Zlo, and in fact less aggressive with his expansion plans. Drops all of those engineers off and gets to work on a naval yard. I'm wondering if that's reactionary. We've got a scout plane over here. Wonder if that blew past, recognized what Tagada was doing. No, it hasn't. It hasn't been scouted yet, so that's purely on initiative. And there is the first transport we've seen for Tagada. Chariot dropping one NG off. There's interceptors that have been dispatched. There's a fighter screen escort, though. Who's going to come out on top? Will the Chariot get the engineers safely on the ground? 2 of them make it, 1 slightly damaged. And I don't think Zlo's even going to get the transport kill. Oh, brought a bomber in to try and nick them on the ground. Didn't manage it. This is good coverage from Tagada. Good solid defense. More transports out for Zlo, though. One of them with engineers coming to the side island, but the second one is he's going aggressive. That is all either Mantis or Lab. I think it's Mantis. And that will get some engineer kills. No PD online yet on this portion of the map. Or, no, sorry, excuse me. They are hunters, so it's lab play. That was a quick last-minute decision. Engineers start work on an eruptor. They're on the ground slow. You need to get them moving ASAP. And there is the attack command going after the mechs first of all. Does he have line of sight? Yes, he does. The engineer will die soon after the mechs. The PD won't be completed. Engineer over here is working on a land factory. What's being brought in now from Tagada to defend? Transport with engineers out to the middle. That gets shot down. Nice pickup from Zlo. You've got to love this map. This is a beautifully balanced map here. I'm wondering if this is one of the very new ones. I have to confess, I see them flash up every now and again, but I don't always make note of the pictures or the names. This might be one of the brand new maps, and if it is, whoever made it, plaudits. It's marvelous. Loving it so far, or maybe it's just the fact that we've got top quality players here going aggressive. These little drops here and there, which could be so crucial, bagging these early choke points. T1 bomber for Tagada picks off one of the labs. Little split from Zlo, aims to minimize potential AoE damage. Another kill there. 2 labs left. It's going to be tough for these 2 guys to get any more kills. There's another 2 back here. They grabbed the mechs on the bottom right hand corner. Zlo microing like his life depends on it. Does get another mechs kill. They start work on the second of the mechs is down here, and it's playing havoc with the targeting sensors on board Tagada's Aeon bomber. Can't seem to manage to get the bomb away and get the kills. Good work from Zlo. Both of those mechs is down. Doesn't want to stop microing them though. Well, they got the job done. I suppose you can look at it like that. Frigates online over here for Tagada. 1 frigate online over here, but it's being engaged by a 3rd frigate from Tagada. Slow taking a lot of damage. Manages to outrun it for now, but a sharp sneeze will capsize that trident. State it's in. And Tagada has hit T2 Air Tech and immediately goes aggressive with the first Spectre he has at his availability. Takes down a T1 mech. Slow was thinking about issuing a kill command with his inties, but needs to regroup further back for going in. Tagada has a lot of air power over here. Tagada comes in again, takes out the radar, starts work on the other T1 mechs. Second and third naval yards online meanwhile over in the east for Slow. Another drop being brought in at the side islands. It's all kicking off. Drop over here from Tagada. 3 engineers on board. Looks like it's just a waypoint for the time being. Hasn't issued the drop command. Engineers being brought in. Looks like we've got a land grab underway. Will the reclaim order be given out in time? Who's going to go for it first? We'll check in on that in just a second. That's a very aggressively placed naval yard for Slow. If he can hang on to that, that would be brilliant to help him shut down this whole area of the map, especially if he can get it to T2 and start pumping out some cruisers. Remember, Salem's could be invaluable here if Slow can get a navy up and running. Start pushing them in on these land masses, which are clumped very tightly together. Aeon bombers over here, pushing up on Slow's weaker edge, but it's been less pressure applied by Tagada. Tagada's still very much on the defensive. It's similar to what we saw in the last game, really. Slow going aggressive, trying to shut down his opponent early. Of course, so much mass available on Crossfire. Harder to do potentially here. Slow's tactic might be X amount more effective. We'll have to wait and see. Scepters brought in by Slow. Take down the bombers, but he's lost both of those mechs down there. And once again, Tagada starting to pull away from Slow in the early ecos. This is a consistent feature of Slow's play. He goes aggressive and as a result gets out ecoed by somebody who's happy to sit back, be a little bit more defensive, get set up, get that early eco online and come back in the T2 phase. Another aggressive engineer drop over here. Slow really looking to lock down Tagada's territorial concerns. Dropping one in the middle, saving the other 3, I would imagine. No, just dropping one off over here. Wants to get to work quickly. There's an eruptor under construction. And the other 2 surely aren't going to make it home, or indeed to their drop zone. That gets shot down without any difficulty. Interceptors lying in wait. No naval tech on the way for Slow. Or Tagada, it would seem. He's still operating off 2 naval yards. It's 2v3. And Slow is actually setting up shop here. He's properly digging in. 2 land factories online, 2 more queued up. Needs to get some static emplacements online if he really wants to hold on to it. But if he can dig in here and make the battle about this section of the map and prevent Tagada from expanding over here, he might be able to bounce back via map control. I'll have to wait and see, but there's still a nasty differential in terms of eco. Well, Deletimus Maximus clearly doesn't agree with me, saying it's the most boring map ever. I'd say that's very much a counterpoint to my position. Definitely haven't found it boring so far. Gunships just wasted by Slow's interceptor numbers. Let's take a look at how many we've got here. 76 with fuel, 19 without for Zlo. Tagada, where are you at, my friends? Well, he's on 15 T1s with 26 out of fuels, but he's got some swift wins in here as well. It's about 14 of those. 15, excuse me, with that other one that wasn't selected. So, hard to say which way that would go. The longer this goes on, the more it's going to flow towards Tagada with that tech advantage, but a large frigate engagement brewing over here now. And Tagada withdrawing tactically, not engaging full on after registering the numbers. Has 3 more in the background there joining him. Wants to present a nice formation and then move in. That's what he wants to do. Gunship going after the odd... sorry, I was about to say Fervor. He's playing Cyber now. The odd Medusa, which is going after the factories and other structures down there belonging to Tagada. Now Tagada hits out with the odd submarine in there as well. Feeling like he's got the advantage in numbers and unit comp. And I think he's pretty bang on in that assessment. Get those in, take down these naval facilities. As a massive air battle brews over the top of Zlo's forward position. And the swift winds have really swung it, just carving their way through the T1 airplanes of their Cybran opponents, as you would expect them to do. Just annihilated them. Gunships move in the wake of that engagement. Naval units roll in, going after the naval yards. Maximus in observer mode, talking about the amount of T1 air factories that Zlo's got. Well, it's not helping him much at the moment. He has managed to kill off those gunships as they push a little bit too far north. There's another group of them down here. Tagada's wise to protect them. Brings in that swift wind screen. Needs to bear in mind there are now Sky Slammers rolling in from these factories up here. Tagada has had enough. Brings in his commander. Needs to be careful. Doesn't want to get shot down. Drops his commander off on the sand. I think that's sensible. He just doesn't know what's coming in. Cannot possibly have solid intel coverage of everything yet. That's the limit of his intel. You could have a huge swarm of planes come in, and that would be the end of the game right there. Tagada not with overcharge. Interesting. And unupgraded as well. So that naval push on that last engagement from Tagada took down that one naval yard. There's 2 more still online over here. It's allowed Tagada to get another naval yard of his own. Good reinforcement point a little bit further up towards the crucial naval theatre, which is going to be this section of the map for the foreseeable. Trident rolling in, gets eviscerated by that group of gunships. And a torpedo bomber brought in. Okay, so we're at T2 Tech in the air game for Zlo. Interesting decision there, that Cormorant. Going after the odd frigate over here. It's about to get shot down if these planes ever catch up to it. There it goes. Now, Tagada looking to take out Slow's forward naval yards as well, but Slow's got his comm on board a transport. Where are you going, sir? He's going aggressive, it would seem. Probably wants to get over here and hold on to this at all costs. No. Once again, I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe he does. He's staging for the time being, but bloody hell, he needs to be careful. There are swift winds right there. You need to drop your comm off. Fortunately for Slow, it's not been spotted yet. But that forward position he was going to bring the comm into is now being bombarded by destroyers. One Exodus rolling in, taking a few pot shots, taking down a mechs and a factory or two. And he's also lost his 2 naval yards up here. And now he's pulling back his commander, and he's a good 39 mass behind. This is not looking good for Slow once again in game 2. Gunship's getting work done over here. Runs into some Sky Slammer power. Has taken down those 2 forward mexes once again. And then stops to reposition. And at the moment, Tagada in control of the air, in control of the naval game. The only concern he really has is Slow's position on his eastern border over here. Slow manages to get his commander off just as the swift winds lock onto the transport. Maximus thought it was over there and then. Good reactions from our Cybran. Be all those implants he puts in his face, sacrificing aesthetics for functionality. Oh, but that's a nice pickup from Slow. That gunship band was causing him problems. Gets almost completely wiped out by his inties, T1 inties. Swiftwinds sent to deal with those. More groups of Swiftwinds up here protecting the destroyer. And you just get the feeling it's only a matter of time before Tagada deals with the beachhead, the bridgehead or whatever, the beachhead that Slow has up on the peninsula. Slow trying to go aggressive with 1 Corsair. Looked like he took down a T2 P-Gen. But now with Tagada producing T2 naval vessels and Slow effectively completely locked out of the naval game altogether. Unless he can utterly bash Tagada on his main landmass with this position, which looks increasingly less likely. This is going to be a win for Tagada, and taking stock of that, just how cool. What a cool head he's got. Ousted by Slow. Went into the loser's bracket, won all his games, has come back and now looks set to defeat Slow in the final. It's like the premise to an awesome film. Assuming the world would enjoy watching a film about SOPCOM players. It might not, but they bloody well should, shouldn't they? Compared to the most of the crap that makes it into cinemas. Look at that. 1 strategically placed destroyer just picking off all the structures over here. All the land factories gone except for these 3. Mex is out of commission. Slow trying to push in this direction with what he's got. But he's not going to make it past the comm and the gunship over here. Interceptors circling. They're just going to get destroyed as they push further in towards the swift winds. And Slow, last-ditch effort, is going for a Masercom. And he's got a long way to go because at the moment, power-locked as he is, he's producing 12 mass. And not consuming it quickly enough to get his eco balance back. Has he just paused it? Yes, he has. Letting his power reserves replenish. cheeky little run-by attempt. Might kill a few engineers, maybe. Very powerful naval vessels lurking in the bay, though. And a couple of beacon-class frigates as well, which you can just move in down here. Or you can just bring the gunships in and focus down the anti-air units first of all before moving on to the others. Perfectly valid way of doing things. And that's it. Zlo is out. Completely out. Tagada questioning if the upgrade is a Mesa with one scout shamelessly lurking over the top of Zlo's comm. Laser or T3, he says. One might humbly suggest that either would be moot for the time being. Corsairs, or a Corsair, harassing the frigates on the shoreline. What he needs to do is get a cruiser in over here to help bombard the base and protect against air attack. Don't know if he's got any under construction. Seems like he's going for shards at the moment, attack boats. Tagada still playing pretty conservatively. I think he can afford to go super aggressive now. Credit where credit's due. He's managed to get to 85% there, Zlo, and building. Got the T2 upgrade, but now this is going to be interesting. In come the destroyers. Main base well in range. Central systems like the P-Gen in range. Zlo dispatches Medusas to try and combat them. They will come into range of the frigates over here, which should cut them down very, very quickly. Boom! There goes the P-Gen. What has that done to Zlo's power? Well, he's okay for the time being. He hasn't got time to do the teleport. All the resources, he's going to have to transport it and try and get it in. It's going to be tough. And well aware of what's going on, Tagada dispatches all his air units. Gunships going in. Scouts going in to try and track the comm, no doubt. And Swiftwind's beelining and well aware of what's coming. He drops the comm onto the floor, starts working on some flak. Gunships dispatch, go after the T1 anti-air and then lock on to Zlo's comm. The flak does complete. Gunships switch up to that. Helpful shot comes in from the destroyer to help take that down. Zlo into the yellow. HP falling fast. And this is going to be it. GG thrown out from Tagada. No questions there about the validity of that. Zlo into the reds. Boom, baby! Tagada wins Q1. Zlo will go through to the finals in the number 2 position. But what a comeback for Tagada, having been ousted in the earlier sections. Just look at it. How can you say this map is boring? I love that map. That's an awesome game. Very entertaining and a different flow, if you will, from regular games that we've seen so far. So there you have it. Tagada goes through in straight games against Zlo in the final. And if you're interested in having a shufti in the tournament standings for Q1 and what it looked like, let's have a look here. So this is where we start. We had some really high quality players in this. Obviously we only showed you a selection of games, the ones that that Rowie really liked and then sent on to me, but we had some big players. We had God King Xerxes, we had Heaven, who lost that first game against God King Xerxes and went down to the losers bracket and then lost against Paralon. He'll love me for highlighting that. We had System Failure, who lost his first game against Paralon. What else did we have? We had Plasma Wolf, we had UD, who lost his first game. So it all didn't necessarily go the way you would expect things to go. Robo Gear. And then we take a look at that game. So Zlo won that game against Tagada. So Tagada dropped down into over here, LR5. And he faced Robo Gear, beat him. Then faced Bravo, who beat Thomas Height, and then got obviously bumped up to that grand final and went through in straight games against Zlo. So that is Q1. That's how it all finished up. Like I said at the beginning, we're not going to be showing any of Q2, which I'm a bit disappointed about, but apparently there weren't really very many castable games, so we're not going to be doing that. But I have got a pack, which I haven't watched yet, from Rowie for Q3, and then on from there, it's the finals, and that's when the money gets won. So we will definitely be bringing you some of that. I'd like to get another cast in this week. I don't know if we're going to go straight into Q3. I might try and get an odd team game in there for a bit of balance. We'll see what we can do. Hopefully you enjoyed it, guys. There's always more to come from me in the future. Don't forget, if you feel so inclined, you can support me on Patreon. All donations are very much appreciated. Go on to support me, the channel, and by extension the community. So thank you in advance for any kind donations, and any donations that I've already received. Your support really does mean the world to me. Alright, that's enough from me. Until next time, guys, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile, signing out.